What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Bayley set to return, Roman Reigns to remain part-time, Cesaro training for a return, Cody Rhodes in the AEW video game, the Bloodline getting a new member, Bad Bunny set to return, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. And now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Now, first story looks at Bayley set to return. Our top story today takes a look at the injury status of former WWE Women's Champion Bayley. Bayley suffered an unfortunate ACL tear during training last year, and this resulted in Bayley being forced to step away from WWE to recover. This was a massive blow for WWE, as Bayley had become one of the most consistent and reliable stars on the entire roster, and her presence in the women's division remains deeply missed. Thankfully, it looks like Bayley is finally ready to return to the ring, well, at least according to Dave Meltzer. Taking to Twitter, Meltzer would tweet in a reference to Bayley's return by saying, "Could happen anytime now." Now, what's interesting about this is that fans have been speculating that Bayley could be returning at Money in the Bank next Saturday. This was reported by Bayley taking to Instagram to post an image of her holding the Money in the Bank briefcase in what appeared to be a hotel room bed. Could Bayley become the first woman in history to become a two-time Money in the Bank winner? Let us know if you'd like to see this go down in the comments down below. Next up, Roman Reigns to remain part-time. Since WrestleMania 38, Roman Reigns has taken on a part-time role in WWE. This is something that's been criticized by fans, as putting both world titles on him at WrestleMania seemed like a ridiculous decision if WWE knew in advance that Reigns wasn't going to be on the shows. Nevertheless, Reigns is now set to defend the undisputed WWE Universal title against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam next month. Reigns vs Lesnar's title showdown will be a last man standing match and will hopefully act as a last match in their extended feud. Reigns was initially set to face Randy Orton at SummerSlam, but due to Orton's severe injury, this won't be taking place. Nevertheless, Reigns is now set to defend the undisputed WWE Universal title against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam next month. Reigns vs Lesnar's title showdown will be a last man standing match and will hopefully act as a last match in their extended feud. In a new update, and judging by WWE's list of advertised talent for the road to WrestleMania, Reigns will only be working 3 shows between now and SummerSlam. Obviously, these cards are subject to change, and WWE could easily add Reigns to a show if they feel like his star power is needed. These includes just 2 editions of SmackDown and only 1 single edition of Raw. In relation to Lesnar, he currently isn't listed for any shows between now and SummerSlam. However, it's possible that WWE are wishing to keep Lesnar's appearances under wraps for now. There's certainly a lack of excitement from fans following WWE announcing Reigns vs Lesnar for the main event of SummerSlam, and if both are absent for the majority of the build, this isn't going to help WWE present the match as something that fans should even care about. Next up, Cesaro training for an in-ring return. Now, there have been a ton of rumors surrounding former WWE star Cesaro this week. These rumors began on Wednesday's edition of Dynamite, as Bryan Danielson announced that he was not medically cleared to compete against Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door, set to take place tonight. Danielson would announce that a replacement had been found, and fans have speculated that this is Cesaro. Fightful Select is now reporting that despite not making any major moves since leaving WWE, Cesaro has been getting in the ring training in Florida over the past few weeks. The Fightful Select article fails to comment on if Cesaro is set to appear at the pay-per-view tonight, but it would be a satisfying replacement to say the very least. AEW executive Kenny Omega claimed in an interview with Sports Illustrated that the replacement isn't Omega himself, but the replacement AEW have selected won't disappoint fans, who now just have a few more hours to wait until the mystery opponent is revealed. Next up, Cody Rhodes to feature in the AEW video game. Speaking of Kenny Omega's interview with Sports Illustrated, in this very interview, the former AEW World Champion revealed that current WWE star Cody Rhodes will indeed be featured in the upcoming AEW video game. Omega revealed, "This may come as a surprise to people, but Cody is still in the game. I was very passionate about making sure his legacy and position within the company were preserved." This comes as a huge surprise, but it's great to see that AEW refused to blacklist Rhodes and they fully acknowledge how much he helped the company grow. Next up, John Cena's WWE return is sold out. Tomorrow night is a special night for fans of John Cena, as Cena is set to make his highly anticipated return to the company. Cena will celebrate the 20th anniversary of his WWE debut, and fans are hoping that Cena's return leads to him working a rivalry heading into SummerSlam next month. Cena's WWE return has done some fantastic business, and it looks like Raw tomorrow has just a few final tickets left to sell, but by the time the show goes live tomorrow, it would have officially sold out. WWE have sold over 8,000 tickets for the event, which is kind of impressive and goes to show that despite only making sporadic appearances for WWE, Cena is still a huge draw. It'll be interesting to see how WWE presents Cena tomorrow night, as fans are expecting him to have a segment with Theory, who's been teasing a feud with Cena for months on social media. However, with Theory in the midst of a feud with Bobby Lashley, WWE may wish to keep an interaction between Cena and Theory for another time. Next up, the Bloodline to get a new member. A Hall of Famer Rikishi has claimed that his son Solo Sikoa will join the Bloodline faction. During an interview on Sony Sports Network's Extra Damal show, Rikishi discussed the possibility of his son joining the popular stable, and this is what he had to say. Solo Sikoa? By all means, absolutely 100%. I'll tell you what, 200%. He's the younger brother of the Usos, family to Roman Reigns, son to yours truly, so absolutely. Would you guys want to see Solo in the group? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, The Rock praises Pat McAfee. One of the highlights on this week's edition of SmackDown was the passionate promo from Pat McAfee. McAfee would challenge Happy Corbin to a match at SummerSlam, and fans were elated to hear that McAfee will once again be performing at a major WWE event. McAfee had a fantastic showing at WrestleMania 38 in April, and fans have come to love everything he does. Following McAfee's promo, former WWE Champion The Rock took to Twitter to offer high praise for McAfee, as the Great One tweeted, "In front of the millions and millions, bum-ass Corbin. That's good shit, brother. Great promo. Enjoyed watching this. Hashtag I smelt." It's great that The Rock still tries to keep tabs on what's going on in the world of pro wrestling, and usually has nothing but positive things to say about WWE and the current roster. A WWE return for the Great One has been rumoured for some time now, and a dream match between Roman Reigns is heavily rumoured for WrestleMania next year in Hollywood. Next up, an AEW star responds to The Undertaker. The Undertaker has caused a ton of controversy last year when he claimed that the current generation of wrestlers are too soft, and he would criticise the current generation for playing video games. This didn't sit well with fans as well as wrestlers, questioned what on earth the dead man's problem was. During a recent interview with Fightful, Miro would discuss The Undertaker's infamous comments, and this is what he had to say. "Sorry Undertaker, we don't have guns and drugs and don't fight each other backstage. People are trying to talk bad about video games, which I never understood. We all have our downtime. Some people want to drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes and do heroin, and others want to play video games. Some of these old timers are calling this a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing just because we have more brains now than people before. Doesn't mean video games are bad. Sorry Undertaker, we don't have guns and drugs and don't fight each other backstage." Now, the former TNT champion is in the mix to win the new AEW All-Atlantic Championship at Forbidden Door tonight, as Miro will face Malachi Black, Pac, and Clark Connors in a fatal 4-way showdown. And finally, Bad Bunny returning. Our final story today takes a look at the possibility of Bad Bunny returning to WWE. Bunny is widely considered one, if not the greatest celebrity crossover WWE have ever delivered, as his love and respect for the world of pro wrestling is apparent. According to Bunny's former tag team partner Damian Priest, fans will likely see Bunny in the ring soon. Speaking to NBC Sports Boston, the former US champion revealed, "It comes down to he had a perfect time in his schedule, and then he was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to move to Florida just to train and completely invest all my energy and time into this." He's not someone that just wanted to come in and then leave or just promote something. He wanted to get invested. If he gets that time again where he could devote himself, 100% I believe we'll see Bad Bunny in the WWE ring again. Would you guys like to see Bad Bunny return? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.